Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I have some news that is circulating around the SEO community. A lot of this is coming out of a conference called Pubcon. This is a big SEO conference that was just held recently. And some of the news that came out of this is regarding EAT or EAT, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, a big buzzword that's been circulating around SEO discussions for at least a year. Uh, this is an acronym that's been mentioned in uh, Google documentation, the search quality raters guidelines for at least the last 3 or 4 years, and people are latching onto it like more and more. They're giving a lot of advice, but uh, there are some things that need to be cleared up here. So I'm going to pick it up right here. Barry Schwartz, he's a journalist in SEO, really well respected guy. Danny Sullivan used to be a SEO journalist. He now works internally at Google as a representative. And this question is from the 11th of October, 2019, uh, where another Google representative, Gary Illyes, said content accuracy is a ranking factor. But a month ago, Danny Sullivan said Google cannot determine the accuracy of content. And then they link to this article on SEO Roundtable. And this gets into EAT really quick here. So Danny Sullivan comes back. He says, we don't know if content is accurate. We do look for signals we believe align with that. And I'll assume that when Gary said that, he was talking generally that having accurate content is a ranking factor, not because we know that it's accurate, but because it will align with signals. Now, I want to point you back to a video that we did called the Google Paradox, which talks about this. Like, Google is not omnipotent. You have to think about this, anything that's got to do with the algorithms and how much content is created each and every day and how a computer would evaluate that. So when you think about it like an engineer is going to solve a problem, how do you evaluate, like, we'll just throw out a number here, but like, we'll say like 2 million, 20 million, 200 million pieces of content that are published every day. How do you evaluate the accuracy at that kind of scale? Well, you're going to look for some kind of signals to know if information is accurate or not, and whether that should be surfaced higher in search results. Okay. So he says, Danny Sullivan also goes on to say, I didn't say accuracy wasn't a ranking factor. That is not what I was asked. Now remember, Google representatives, they can't just tell you how the algorithm works, and they can't tell you the secret sauce. They have to be very careful about what they say and how they say it, because they're not just going to tell everybody in the world how to rank, because then everybody is going to try and manipulate it. So there is a lot of secrecy and a lot of innuendo. So you really do have to read between the lines sometimes. Okay, so he was asked if we could tell content is accurate. No, we can't. But again, signals, we look for things we believe correspond to accuracy. So that could be a lot of things. That could be a lot of things, But in that regard, damn right, having accurate content is a ranking factor. So what he's saying here is, if the signals that they are currently using in the Google ranking algorithm to not determine accuracy, but things that they believe correlate to accuracy in an article or a piece of content, a PDF or whatever, if they see those signals, then that means positive things for ranking. That's what he's saying. He's saying the computer, the algorithm, can't tell accuracy, but they have signals that they look for, and if they see enough of those, then that correlates to accuracy, and then you will rank higher. So he goes on to say, it's almost like we look for signals that align with expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Here's the buzzword. We should give that an acronym like EAT and maybe suggest people aim for this. Oh, wait, we did. Then it references this article on core updates. You can go back and watch our video on what you should know about core updates, because this is the same article. Okay, so he shows a screenshot here. It says the quality search raters have no control over how pages rank. They give feedback, human feedback, that goes to the Google engineers, and their feedback, the engineers try and interpret that in a way in scalable signals that can be used in an algorithm that has to evaluate millions, maybe even billions of pieces of content, new content each and every day. So that's what this is. Okay. So he goes on to say, is EAT a ranking factor? Not if you mean that there's some technical thing like speed, page speed, that we can measure directly. That's easy. We do use a variety of signals as a proxy to tell if content seems to match EAT as humans would assess it. In that regard, yeah, it's a ranking factor. So what he's talking about here, it could be a lot of things. Now, a lot of people have interpreted this to mean things like trust signals. So if you have a bunch of logos on a page somewhere, or if you have, for a while, people were saying, like, if you have a A+ rating from the BBB, which Google said no, that's not what we use. A lot of people speculated author bio boxes was a thing. If each author on your site has a bio box, and the biggest thing that people have out there that they say now is basically every author on the web, Google evaluates their expertise and authority in a given subject. And like I said, you go back to that Google paradox thing and the other video that we did, what everybody gets wrong about EAT. The scalability, okay, first, they don't know if content is accurate. They only have signals that correspond, what they believe corresponds to accuracy. So they're looking for some sort of pattern that would evaluate to accuracy or correlate with accuracy. But they have no way that they can evaluate a billion different authors on the web, or, however many it is, 500 million people, and evaluate their knowledge of a given subject. That is just literally impossible for any computational thing right now. You'd have to have just, it's not possible. But a lot of people think that it is. And in fact, this tweet over here, this thread, this person says, Jeffrey Kamek says, I'm seeing a growing number of sites who are renting specialists' names in EAT segments to add to the bylines in order to add authority to their content. This is how far this myth has gone, with people believing that this is what happens. Now, I don't believe that Google tracks every single author. There might be a couple people out there, or a small handful of people that maybe they attribute expertise to, because there's enough corresponding signals to say that. But just random, doctors, dentists, engineers, technicians, or whatever, that's not going to make a difference, because Google just doesn't have enough information on those people to say that they're an expert in anything. But it doesn't stop people from doing this, because there's a lot of misinformation. Danny Sullivan says it doesn't work like that. He says it straight up. Michael Martinez says, he basically criticizes it. Yeah. Okay. Danny Sullivan says the advice is misunderstood. People should aim for great content. Experts can help produce that. But we don't know if a particular expert has written anything. However, if you have good expert content, that might produce the types of signals we find correspond with such. Now, what he's hinting at strongly here, I believe, something that I have seen, is that it's the track record of the website, and it's the track record of the content on the website is going to have a big influence on this. If you have a website that consistently has good content in a subject matter and Google sees corresponding signals to that, it does not matter who wrote it. And that's something I've been saying for a while. But people are still out there teaching EAT and all kinds of wild stuff. Like Google can actually knows like every single expert, and they have a knowledge graph of every single person who writes stuff for the web, which is, when you really stop to think about it, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so Google's idea of quality is very different from that of web marketers. Again, this is an independent SEO. This is Michael Martinez. Uh, the whole problem with trying to give Google what it wants is that Google is trying to give searchers what they want from what we publish, and we must avoid creating a circular feed of signals. And then he goes on to address John Mueller, Danny Sullivan, who are both Google representatives. Instead of accepting Google's denial of the EAT algorithm, web marketers continue telling each other that you guys are lying and that EAT is really the secret sauce. And I'm engaged in Facebook discussions about that today. They won't stop sharing this nonsense. I think SEOs, because nobody really knows, and we're going to talk about in a second here, even the Google engineers don't fully know. And I'm going to explain how that's possible. But SEOs like to think that they're smart, and I think it's often the people who read blog posts and then, regurgitate that and sell coaching and courses and all this stuff and info products. They often think that they're the smartest of all because they read a blog post or they read a couple blog posts and they know. I can tell you that a lot of the things that people believe is EAT has no effect on rankings. It doesn't. I can tell you from experience. The track record of the site, the signals that the site gets as a whole, and the satisfaction with the content, the quality of the content, as a human would judge it, have a lot more to do with that than any type of author bio boxes or, sometimes trust signals like logos are there for a reason, and that might make a difference. But it's not what they're judging the content by. I can tell you that. Okay, so let's go on to this article. This is on Search Engine Roundtable. Google, we do not have an EAT score. Google's Gary Illyes cleared up one thing that SEOs have been possibly confused about for some time. There's not a single score for EAT. There is not an EAT score. EAT is not a real thing at Google. EAT is made up of many, many algorithms, baby algorithms, that are made up of in the Google Core algorithm. So the Google Core ranking algorithm is comprised of smaller algorithms that judge different things. So technical SEO, content SEO, UX, maybe all these different things. All these different things combine into one ranking algorithm. It is powerful, but again, it's not so powerful that they can evaluate the expertise of every single human and their expertise on a subject matter. It's not that powerful. So Google does not give you a score for your site on how well the site does EAT. And in fact, you know what? Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to pause from reading this. SEO gurus who talk about EAT and focus on EAT, it's really funny because every single one of them cannot clearly define what goes into EAT, what gives something a strong EAT score. Now, like you go back to the other reference here, talking about page speed, that's really simple, relatively simple to measure. How fast does the page load? Time to first paint, time to first byte. All those things are pretty easy to measure, but this sort of thing, ask a SEO guru who talks about EAT, what actually goes into the EAT score and what is the optimal thing. You'll probably get, as many different, if you ask 12 different gurus, you'll probably get 12 different answers. Because nobody actually knows, and they're all just kind of making it up based on, theories. Okay, back to the article. In fact, there are probably multiple algorithms for each letter in EAT. expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Multiple algorithms for each letter. Not just author bio boxes? Amazing. Each alone probably have numerous algorithms that determine various signals to measure how authoritative a site might be based on, who knows, PageRank, which is link juice, citations, and the content accuracy, and more. And so Gary Illyes said this on stage at Pubcon, this conference that just went by. EAT and YMYL, your money or your life, which is a term that is goes with sites that affect your money or your life, like health, finance, maybe insurance, anything that is going to affect your well-being, literally your money or your life. Okay, so those sites are held to a different standard, okay? But these are concepts introduced for quality raters to dumb down algorithm concepts. They're not scores used by Google internally. Follow up, there's no EAT algorithm. He said this on stage. Gary Illyes. Okay, so, and again, he was on stage at this. He was asked, is there an EAT score for your website? There are concepts, there are no scores applied to your site. Same thing, the quality rater guidelines are guidelines for raters, EAT and your money or your life are concepts that allow humans to dumb down algorithms. Okay, so everybody that was there at Pubcon, they're telling you that, right? Let's see if there's anything else here. Okay, so that's basically everybody saying this. So here's a quote from Marie Haynes. She was there. This is a direct quote. Somebody asked, is there an EAT score? He said, exactly. There is no internal EAT score or your money or your life score. The quality raters guidelines are guidelines for raters. EAT and your money or your life are concepts that allow humans to dumb down algorithms. There is no one algorithm that looks for your money or your life. He said that Google has a collection of millions of tiny algorithms that work in unison to spit out a ranking score. Many of those baby algorithms look for signals in pages or content. Interesting. That's a clue. When you put them together in certain ways, they can be conceptualized as your money or your life. It's not like we have a your money or your life score, though. He also said that multiple algorithms conceptualize EAT, so it's multiple algorithms that are then rolled into the ranking algorithm. Barry Schwartz says here, my take is that Google does want us webmasters to focus on EAT because it makes for an overall better website. Improving your EAT on your site should signal to Google through other means that your money or your life site should rank better for specific terms, but a site is not assigned an EAT score like it would be given a Panda score back in the day. So what Barry is saying here is he's interpreting what Gary Illyes said. Basically, they're admitting that they have a bunch of smaller algorithms that evaluate expertise, authority, and trustworthiness, and maybe multiple ones for each one of those things, and then multiple algorithms that look for signals for your money or your life, for finance, health, and other sites, insurance, things like that. And like I said, they cannot determine if a particular expert has written anything. That is not your money or your life right there. Like if you get a doctor, like go back to, there's a video we did like during the summer. It's the site selling, I don't know, toothbrushes or whatever, braces, and we got a dentist to write all this stuff, but our stuff didn't rise up. Why is that? So they can't really tell if a particular expert has written anything. It's more about what they're looking for in the content. I believe that it's got to do with the signals of the overall site as well, but they're looking at the content and they're looking at the overall site. They're looking at the track record of the site. If it's consistently has content that has these accuracies, correlation signals. Anyway, my name's Sean Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO, and we're here every single day making videos on SEO. I really do appreciate everybody who has subscribed to the YouTube channel. I will be here tomorrow. Until next time, peace.